welcome back to my channel. So today, finally, I'll be reviewing one of the best books ever written, Rowley Jefferson's Awesome Friendly Adventure by Jeff Kinney. So this book released in the beginning of August. You guys can definitely buy it on Amazon, and I really recommend you to do so because this book is out of this world. So of course, as you all know, this is Jeff Kinney's newest book, which is written in Rowley Jefferson's point of view. And if you guys want to find out more, then just stay tuned. Things we know. Welcome back, guys. So how about I dive right into this book? And if any of you are Wimpy fans, then you will know that Jeff Kinney has previously written a book in Rowley Jefferson's point of view, and that was called Diary of an Awesome Friendly Kid. So that was like the first book in that specific series. And now, book 2 has finally arrived. So by looking at the front cover of this book, you may be thinking, what in the world is going to be happening? Well, if you read it, then it will all make sense. This book is actually far different than any that Jeff Kinney has previously written. Apparently, Rowley Jefferson is writing his own fantasy story in this book. And each chapter in this book is a chapter from this fantasy story, not the actual book itself. Did that make sense? Well, how about I show you what I'm talking about? Also, at the end of each chapter, the book comes back to the real or present world. And to know that, there's going to be a little image thing at the top of the page. You can also tell if the book gets back to the real world, the fantasy story, because it will literally have a page that says chapter and then whatever number. So now, how about I talk more about this book? So the fantasy story that Rowley Jefferson is writing is based in the olden times, meaning that schools weren't invented yet, and also there were no electronics like phones or computers. So also, since this is a fantasy story, Rowley threw in some trolls and ogres that roamed the land. Now, this book first starts off where it's snowing in the middle of summer. And it turns out that Rowley's mom gets kidnapped by this dude called the White Warlock. And remember, this is the fantasy story, not the real world. So the White Warlock takes Rowley's mom to his ice fortress to where she's going to be held as his prisoner. And that's, of course, when Roland steps in. So speaking of Roland, this character is the main character of the book. And the funny thing is, Roland actually represents Rowley Jefferson. Of course, Rowley didn't want to put his own name in the book. He didn't want to write Rowley Jefferson as the main character in his fantasy story, so he changed it to Roland. And also, Rowley didn't want to illustrate his character the same way, so he changed it to look like this. And now getting back to the fantasy story, Roland puts on his costume and gets ready for his adventure to save his mom. And that's when the first chapter of the book ends right there. Like I said before, after each chapter in the fantasy story, the book comes back to the real or present world. So now Rowley shows his mom what he has written so far, and then of course comes to, you got it, Greg. And like we all know, Greg has many different takes and opinions than Rowley. So Greg definitely says a lot of things to change in the story. And other than that, not only do Greg and Rowley become partners in the real world, to finish the book and also try to get it published, but also in Roland's adventure. So Greg now is Roland's sidekick, which is actually also one of Greg's ideas. So Greg turns into Garg the Barbarian. Barbarian meaning a person who has a lot of muscles, who's very strong, and in this case, Garg loves to smash things. So now, Garg and Roland start their adventure on epic proportions. So getting back to the real world, Greg only really cared about making action figures and posters for his own character in the story, and also getting the money from their future products, movies, and of course, the books. So Rowley and Greg will be splitting the money 50-50, with Rowley doing all the writing for the book and Greg taking care of the other stuff, like the toys, the t-shirts, and the swimwear. So as you've all heard, Greg and Rowley have definitely planned everything out, but I'm not going to spoil anything else in this book because I want you to get this book and read it for yourself. And I'm going to end this video by telling you all that Garrick and Roland turn out to gather their own team through their adventure. And trust me, this story takes a lot of twists and turns at the end of this book. When you're reading the last chapter, you'll be like, what? That's crazy, and I never knew that. You would never expect it to happen. Overall, I think this book is just mind-blowing and you will all love it for sure. And now for the special announcement. If you have not heard already, Jeff Kinney is going to be publishing another book in the Diary of the Wimpy Kid series. This is going to be the 15th book and it's going to be called The Deep End. So this book is going to be releasing very soon on October 27th, 2020. You guys should definitely pre-order this book. I know I am going to. I'm definitely looking forward to reading it, and I know this is just going to be another awesome book by Jeff Kinney. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye everyone, keep reading, keep coding, and stay safe.